All right, hello and welcome to CSCI 40. I'm glad that you're here. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is just show you a cool example of some code that I saw this on Reddit and then I changed it up a little bit. I thought it would be a cool first thing to show you in the class. So this is a program, and this is a magical place called the terminal right now. And here I am editing a program, and I'm going to compile and run it for you. All right, so you know what the word run means, I'm sure, but the word compile I need to teach to you, and I will teach it to you soon. All right, but there I compiled it, and now I'm running it. And what it does is it guesses random characters until it aligns properly with the phrase welcome to CSCI 40. So once it gets a character right, it stops, but some of them take a little bit longer than others because it's perfectly random. All right, so I think this is a cool little program to show you. So by the end of this semester, you'll be able to write this program yourself without even looking at this code. So that's my promise to you. I think it's a cool first example of the day. And so it's having some trouble randomly with the letter M. If I were to rerun this program, it would probably have trouble with some other letter. But there it goes. It finished. And I think that's a great thing to start us off for the semester. So yeah, I think you can see now why I'm not making the presentation full screen, because I'm going to be switching back and forth between code and slides all day long. So sorry that it's a little bit smaller than it could be, but I promise we get some good perks out of this. So in addition to all the code that I just wrote and showed you here, you're going to get all these slides that I'm showing you today on Canvas. You're getting all the other code that I write. So everything that I do today, you're going to get. All right, so feel free to sit back and relax. You don't have to copy anything down. But I do encourage you to try out the programs that I do write later. Okay, I think that's a great way to learn. So yeah, let's get started for real then. So today's lecture is going to be, at least the first part of it's going to be that normal, boring first lecture stuff where I should introduce myself, right? And then we'll talk about the syllabus. I know that you care a lot about that right now, probably. And so we'll just try to stay awake during that part, and then we'll get to cool stuff. I'll actually give you a real lecture on programming. We're going to learn C++. That's the language we're going to learn in this class. So let's look forward to that. So yeah, a little bit about me is, I guess, let me tell you my name. Hello, everybody. My name is Lawton Nichols. I use he, him pronouns, and I will respond to whatever you want to call me. So you can call me Mr. Nichols, you can call me Dr. Nichols, you can call me Professor Nichols. But honestly, I'd prefer it if you just dropped all these and call me by my first name. Please call me Lawton. I would like to earn your real respect. I don't want your fake respect with these titles. All right, so a little bit about my background is I went to Fresno State for my undergrad. That's where I got my bachelor's degree in computer science. So that's not too far away from here, right? And then I went to UCSB, UC Santa Barbara, for grad school. That's where I got my master's and PhD. So yeah, hopefully I can teach you a little bit of something because all my degrees are in computer science. So in theory, you're going to learn something from me this semester. We'll find out if that's true or not. And this is my cat. This is him as a kitten. He's much bigger now, but his name is Alonzo. So I've dedicated my firstborn son to the cause of computer science. He's named after Alonzo Church, who is a very famous computer scientist and mathematician. If you haven't heard of him, though, you probably have heard of Alan Turing. He's very extra famous. Alonzo Church was his PhD advisor, so that's pretty cool. And so yeah, that's a little bit about my background. I do like to do normal human things. I like to play guitar, I like to run and hike and dance, so feel free to talk to me about those things as well as programming in office hours. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and my background, and I just want to start off by saying thank you in advance for putting up with me throughout the semester. We live in this weird post-COVID era, right? And so everything is not as it seems, but we'll try our hardest to make it through, right? We'll get through it together. So yeah, let's get started with info and logistics. I know your favorite stuff. So I'm just going to go fast because I would like to stay awake as well, but it is your responsibility to read that syllabus and understand everything that is in these slides. All right, so make sure to go through this yourself if you need more time. All right, so you may be watching this recording because you're in the in-person class, so I will have explained these slides for you if you were there in person. I'm going to skip over them because I also am teaching an online class this semester, and if you're in the online class, you're definitely watching these lectures every day. All right, so if this is an online class, and it is for most of you watching this right now, here's what's going to happen for the class. All right, so I'm going to pre-record every lecture and lab, introduction video, and as far as attendance goes, it's going to be the check-in surveys that count as your attendance. So I still have to, quote, take attendance in this class, even though it's online and asynchronous. But the way I'm going to do that then is through these check-in surveys. So that's just me forcing you to psychoanalyze yourself, or at least introduce yourself every week. So go there and do those, because I have to drop you if you don't. All right. So there's that. The schedule that I'm going to keep as far as lectures go is, I will promise, we're going to pretend that this is a Tuesday-Thursday class. All right. I'll have the first lecture video of the week up for you by Tuesday, and the second lecture video of the week up by the end of Thursday. All right. And because this is an online class, I will give you a window to take the exams. So, because I can't expect you to be somewhere at a certain time, I'll give you at least 24 hours to start and take exams in this class. Okay. So they will be timed though. Once you click start, like you'll get like an hour and 15 or an hour and a half to take your midterms, for example. But expect at least a window of time. All right. So you can take it in the dead of night if you'd like to. So that's kind of how exams are going to work. And then also I'm going to force you to record yourself as you take the tests, just to prevent cheating, because sadly you can cheat very easily by using ChatGPT. So this is a way to keep you from doing that. So definitely read the syllabus. I have some strongly worded rules about both cheating and exams. All right. So as far as expectations go, I do want to just tell you what you're getting yourself into this semester. I'm not trying to scare you away, but I do want to give you some information right now about the class. All right, it's a hard class. All right, it's a bit challenging if you've never programmed before, and I assume most of you haven't. This is the first class, right? It's a brand new way of thinking, so it's gonna melt your brain a little bit. All right, and in order to learn a bunch of new stuff that you've never seen before, I have to assign you a decent amount of work to practice it. Okay, so I did not decide the list of topics that is on the syllabus. It's a long list, all right? So I have to let you practice it in a bunch of different ways. So expect to do a decent amount of work in this class. One good thing, though, is that you don't really have to memorize anything in this class. You're just going to learn how to speak a new language, essentially, all right? So there's no real memorization process. It's just a new way of thinking, and once you learn that way of thinking, you'll do fine, all right? So that's maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, depending on how you think. But I like it, at least. I do want to say that if this is a lot, it is a lot for some of us all at once, a bunch of work and a bunch of new topics, we teach a class called CSCI 1 here that gives you a much gentler introduction to programming. So consider taking that one. It also covers a GE requirement, so it's worth taking if you need like a critical thinking requirement. But for those of you who are not ready for CSCI 40, CSCI 1 is the answer. It'll get you ready for this class and you'll be able to do well. Okay, so yeah, as far as like workload goes, this is a 4-unit class, and I'm going to explain the unit rule for you if you've never heard of it before. So what 4 units means is that you're going to spend 4 hours in class each week, so like listening to me lecturing and going over stuff, and then you're supposed to double that. 4 plus 4 becomes 8, right? And that's the number of hours you're supposed to spend outside of the class doing work, okay? So expect to get close to that rule applying, all right? Expect to get close to 8 hours a week for this class, all right? So now you know why like 12 units is considered a full-time student. So yeah, I'm, again, not trying to scare you away. I just want to tell you what you're getting yourself into so that you can succeed, all right? And I will, of course, be here to help you as much as humanly possible. I will be on Discord in the dead of night, and I'll have plenty of office hours, okay? So we're all here for you. We want you to succeed, but I do want to tell you what to expect, all right? As far as technology goes, if you need anything, as far as in terms of technology at least, if you need anything to help you succeed in the class, you can go to the library for it. So if you need like a laptop or like even a hotspot router, if you have a bad internet connection at home, the library is renting out those things for you. So please see our resources page on Canvas for more information about that. If you are in the online class, you do need a Windows macOS computer with a webcam and a microphone to take the tests, because you are going to be recording yourself taking them. So make sure you have that. Get it from the library if you don't have one. Okay? So, yeah, let's go to the syllabus now. I think that's probably the place you want to see. So that's going to be on our modules page or down here. You have to unlock all these things to see the things below. So here's the syllabus. And let me open it and we'll go through it just very quickly. All right, please read all of it. Probably what you care the most about is like the grading section though. So do read the exams information. because that's important, but grading is probably where you care most about going right now, so that's where I'm going to go, okay? So as far as different assignments go in the class, you can expect to have new like programming homework or textbook homework pretty much every week. So I'm going to give you homework from the textbook, like read a chapter, interact with a chapter in the textbook, and I'll give you programming assignments based on that stuff. So I call those Xylabs if they're in the textbook, and then labs if they're outside of the textbook on our class server. You can expect to have something to work on, at least a few things, a few separate things every week, all right? And those will make up a few bits of your grade, right? So like 10% of your grade is going to come from reading your textbook and interacting with it. I'll show you that in a second. And then 10% of your grade will come from doing programming assignments in your textbook. But that's all to get you ready for a good chunk of your grade. That's going to be programming assignments on our class server. I call those labs. And this is like where the meat of your grade is coming from. So those are things you can expect to see. Check-in surveys is an easy 5% of your grade. That's me forcing you to psychoanalyze yourself and like explain and think about like what you could do better on each week and stuff like that. So I promise that it's helpful. It's helpful for me to read as well. So it's a very easy 5% of your grade to fill those out. And if you're in the online class, that's your attendance, and I'll drop you if you don't do them. Okay, so that's my word of warning. Then we're going to have some exams. So 2 midterms. This is an 18-week semester. So 17 weeks of classes and then an 18th week of finals week. So I'll try to like spread out the exams as much as possible. So week 6 is like a third of the way through the class. That'll be our first midterm. And then week 12 will be when our second midterm will be. Okay? So that's 2/3 of the way through the class. And then the final will be week 18, which is 3/3 of the way. All right? So each midterm is going to be worth 15% of your grade. So both of them together is 30%. And then the final exam at the end of the semester will be 20% of your grade. Okay? So that's the grade breakdown. I do also give extra credit. One cool thing, if you like to go to just some very interesting lectures and like get to know some cool computer science stuff that is sometimes beyond the scope of this class, I highly encourage you to join the ACM club and go to all of their workshops. I'll give you half an extra credit point for going to any technical ACM club workshop, and you'll find more information about those in our Discord. All right, so that's a very interesting place, and I highly encourage it. And I'll also give extra credit assignments too if you can't make them. So you can get a maximum of a letter grade's worth of extra credit in this class. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cap you at 10%. All right. So that's extra credit. And then our final exam, because this is online, assuming you're watching this and you're in the online class, this is when I plan on having our online exam. I'll give it to you between at least a 24-hour period between the Monday and Tuesday of finals week. So that's May 19th and May 20th. The exact time range to be determined, but you'll at least have 24 hours to do it at the start of finals week. We'll just like get it over with. Okay? So that's when that's going to be. Please shout out at me, yell at me on Discord, come to office hours if you have any questions about anything that I'm going over. Okay? So that's the syllabus. Let's talk about due dates. So I do want to stress right now that every assignment in this class, except for check-in surveys, which are due at 5:30, every assignment in this class is going to be due at 5 p.m. on the day that it's due. All right, so there's no excuses for thinking that it was due at midnight. Everything is due at 5 p.m. in this class. All right, and the reason for that is because you can imagine that this is a highly technical class, and there are many issues that arise because of that. All right, so this just makes sure that I'm awake when it's a due date, when the time comes and something's due. I'm awake when you're like having issues getting something turned in, and I can help you. All right, I'll often be having office hours. Right, I'll have a place for you to come and get help. So that's why I have my due dates at 5 p.m. and I think it's very useful. All right, I do make some exceptions for certain students though. All right, so if this applies to you, let me know. But if you work at least half time, so 20 hours or more per week, school doesn't count, then I'll give you an extra 7 hours on every assignment. So every assignment will be due at midnight for you if you work at least half time. If you work at least full time, so 40 hours or more a week, or you do something that is the equivalent of a full-time job, like you care for a child, please let me know, and I will give you an extra 15 hours to do every assignment. So you can either stay up late or wake up early and get stuff in. And I hope we can all agree that the people in these categories deserve the extra time, right? So just let me know if any of those apply to you. I'll get you in the right due date groups. But these are extensions for assignments only, not for extra credit things or for exams. All right, just for assignments. So So that's my due date policy. I am also very lenient, though, with my late submission. So I'll accept late stuff up until the last day of instruction. That's the last day of classes before the finals week starts. And so you can turn something in late as late as that, but I will, I'll knock off 50% of it the second something's late. So that's the give and take, okay? So 50% is still better than 0, so get stuff in. I highly encourage it. All right. The one thing you do have to tell me about, everything else is automatic, but you have to tell me if you turn in a Zybooks assignment late, because Canvas will just give you a 0 automatically because Canvas is silly. So I just need to do it manually for those. Everything else will be automatic. All right. So that's my late submission policy. And then I'll also drop a few of your lowest scores. So if you have a bad week, it's like it never happened. So look into that, read the syllabus. I'll just move on, right? You can read that later. Let's talk about your textbook now. So your textbook is honestly the best thing that I've ever seen for this class. It's really, really good. It is virtual, though. It's virtual, and you will interact with it. And so I'll give you homework assignments in your textbook, and you're going to click buttons and watch cool animations and stuff like that. All right? And I'll also give you Xylabs programming assignments out of it to do. It's something you have to buy, but I swear it's the best possible textbook for this class. The interactivity is amazing. It's the coolest thing ever. You can get it in one of two places. You can go either, let's see, you can get it from the bookstore, or you can get it through Canvas by clicking on a link to our first assignment. So you can get it from Zybooks themselves or from the bookstore. I encourage you to get it through the Zybooks website if you can. I've heard horror stories that the bookstore is going to send you like a piece of paper in the mail with a code on it, and you have to wait for that, and that's gonna you're gonna get behind if you have to wait for that. So try to get it from the website if you can. And the way that you get the book or enter in your code is you click the link in the first Zybooks assignment. All right, so here, let's go back to our Canvas. Go to our modules. Scroll on down here is textbook. That's like what I just said. But our first assignment for Zybooks from the textbook is this chapter 1, chapter 2. So I'll click on that. And it's this button right here, load it in a new window. So if you haven't bought the book yet, this link will take you to a place to buy the book or to enter in your code. But once you've bought it, it will take you to the actual chapter. All right, so here's kind of what your textbook looks like, and you can see like it's got really cool animations. And so there it is drawing stuff. It's gonna help you it's gonna help teach you all the stuff that you need to know in this class. It's really, really cool. I promise it's worth it. So look forward to that. If you have no life, all of the assignments actually for the semester are up right now. So feel free to get ahead there if you would like. They're all at the bottom. I just made a big long module on Canvas with all of the Zybooks assignment stuff. All right, so there's all that if you would like it. What else? So yeah, once you click like an assignment, it will take you to that assignment in Zybooks, but it's not clear, sadly, like exactly what chapters are part of which assignment. So you got to go back out to the table of contents over to the assignments tab, and then you can see all the assignments. Do not pay attention to these due dates. I just have to make them the last day of classes so that your late stuff will go into Canvas. The due dates on Canvas are the correct ones, right? But here's like that first assignment, and you can see now a list of all the sections that I'm asking you to complete, and you can always come back here after you do more of them, and it will show you your current score. Okay, so that's where you're going to go out to the table of contents, go to the assignments tab to see your score. Okay, and yeah, there's your textbook in a nutshell. So yeah, I think that's all that I want to say. I am kind of front-loading your work so that you have less to do at the end of the semester, but that means that your first 3 like reading assignments are going to take a while. All right, so that's going to take up most of your 8 hours this week. All right, so try to start early. That is my warning there, I guess. And so that's your textbook. Let's next talk about how to contact me and how to get help. So Discord, I made a class Discord server for us. All right, so go join that. There's a link in Canvas to get there. This is where I want you to ask questions. All right, so you can ask questions publicly to our entire class by using our CSCI 40 channel. All right, so once you join our class server, our class Discord server, it will have only these welcome and guide channels available. You have to scroll up to the top of the welcome channel to like get everything else. So you got to click the 100 emoji to add the student role, and then you got to click the cat because you're in CSCI 40, and then click your pronouns, And here is where you can have more information. You can find more information about the ACM Club, and you'll see a list of all their workshops as they schedule them. Okay, so consider joining that as well. But then you're going to have access to all these channels, and CSCI 40 is a good one to ask questions in. All right, and so I'll be paying attention to that, and so will your peers. So I highly encourage you to ask questions publicly on Discord when you can, so that when it's like 3 a.m. and I'm fast asleep, somebody can help you still. So I do want you to use your judgment, though. Please do not share a bunch of code publicly or entire answers publicly. Little pieces is fine, but large pieces is not fine, okay? So please use your judgment there. I will delete stuff if you post too much. If you need to ask a question about a bunch of code at once, you can either go to the tutorial center or come to office hours or send me a direct message on Discord, okay? So you can right-click my name, go to message. Sadly, I can't message myself, but you kind of get the idea, I hope. All right, so that's how you send me a direct message, a private one, okay? So yeah, please, please, please use Discord to contact me instead of using Canvas or using email. It's much, much easier for me to see that there's something I haven't responded to on Discord rather than any other place. As a professor, my inbox is disgusting, okay? So I might miss something, but like, here's some stuff, some new stuff that I haven't seen yet. So like, it's very clear and easy for me to read, all right? So that is Discord. Please contact me there if you can. And then there's also other places to get help. So like I said, office hours, I'll be having plenty of those. There's also the tutorial center on campus, which you should look into. But here is my office hours schedule. I gotta scroll way up, sorry. So here is when I hope to have my office hours. This, you gotta check this every time you might come because it might change. There might be like meetings scheduled for me to go to, so I might have to switch some of these around, but this is kind of when I want to have my office hours, these green times. Okay, so you could come in person if you'd like some of these office hours will be in person and on Zoom, but every one of them will also be on Zoom for sure. Okay, so this is when I want to have my office hours, and hopefully they stay like this. But if you want to come on Zoom, you can click this link or this one. It's there twice for some reason, and you can come get help. All right, so also look into the tutorial center because that's your peers helping you too. So I think that's a great place to get help. And while we're on the topic of that, I do want to stress the importance of getting help when you're stuck. All right, so this is a class that has a brand new way of thinking. It's stuff that you've never seen before, most likely, and you're gonna get stuck. All right, so I want you to ask for help when you've been stuck for too long. So let's set a time period. All right, so let's say that if you've been stuck for at least 30 minutes on a problem and you're not sure how to make progress from here, please come to office hours. Please ask a question on Discord. Please go to the tutorial center, whatever you need to do to get help and to get you unstuck, all right? Because I think that's a little too long to be stuck, all right? I'll give you a hint after that amount of time, all right? So I want to get you over whatever the issue is and on to the next thing to be stuck on, okay? That is how the class is going to go, all right? So please ask for help when you get stuck. There's no virtue in staring at your screen for 2 hours trying to think of something. I experienced that in my undergrad, and I think it would have been a lot better if I had asked for help. So don't be like me. So yeah, so please, please, please come get help when you need it. That being said, though, if you get stuck for 29 minutes and then have a flash of genius, that's kind of what I expect to happen. All right, so that's how programming works. That's how you get better. So you do have to like ponder and struggle with something for a little while, and that helps you finally understand it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's most of the logistics. I do next want to talk about the class website. This is a magical place, all right? So it is, I'll show you the link in a second and you'll go there, but I've made you 2 accounts right now. You maybe have already tried to get in on some of them, all right? So on our modules page, there is a link to like the SSH client, which hopefully you've looked at and maybe have even tried to get in. That's the class server, all right? So I've made you 2 accounts right now. They're 2 separate accounts. They're a little confusing because their username is the same though, all right? So you've got the class server, but you also have the class website, this thing that I'm talking about right now, all right? So they both have, by default, the same username and password, all right? But once you change one password, it does not change the other. So that's a little confusing. I made an entire slide because of that, all right? So like you have the same username in both places, but you can change the password to different things, and changing one password does not change the other password, okay? So I think that's all that I wanted to say there. So with that in mind, your default password is probably still the same on the class website unless you've already gone there. It's www.lautensclass.com, and your username and password is the same thing right now. Here, let me go there in a private browser so you can kind of see that. And so your username and password on the class website is your last name, all lowercase, no hyphens, no accent marks or anything, and then an underscore, and then your student ID. That's going to be your username and your password right now. So if your last name is this one and this is your student ID, this would be your username and your password on the class website. If this is your last name and student ID, this would be your username and password on the class website right now. Please change it, but that's going to be your username for sure. All right. So yeah, please let me know if you have any trouble getting in. Let me log in as my test student to show you what it's going to look like for you. If I can remember its password. Cool, so this is what you're going to see. If you're in the in-person class, you're going to be using a lot of these. If you're in the online class, you're going to be using this AutoGrader grades link. That's where you care about going, okay? So yeah, that is the class website, and that's it. I finally got to the end of all the logistics stuff. So hopefully you're still awake and you're paying attention, but that's my little initial logistics stuff. And I'm going to stop the video here and just start re-recording in a new video to get to the good stuff. All right, so this is all the logistics. You can come back here in one video and everything else will be in the next video. So I'll see you there.